In America, you got the Nielsen. In Japan, it's typically video research. The point is, we're talking ratings, bro. And I'm kickstarting this series with Dragon Ball. I would like to thank Kanzenshu as all the data I'm using for the episodes comes from their website. So big thanks in advance. Episode 47 is Dragon Ball's highest rated episode, airing January 21st, 1987. The rating share came out at 29.5, the highest of any Dragon Ball series. Throughout Dragon Ball's run, it averaged a rating of 21.2. Episode 47 is obviously an exception. This episode adapted Chapter 71 of Dragon Ball, which was released April 22nd of 1986. This episode was supervised by Mitsuo Shindo of Shindo Pro and directed by Yuji Endo. Here's an episode recap for you. After beating two Red Ribbon Army perverts, Goku and Bulma head to Kame Sennin's place to get a submarine to search for the next Dragon Ball buried deep within the ocean. Goku and Bulma have to wait for Kuririn or Krillin and Lunch to show up back to the house after using the submarine to go get some food. During the wait, Kame Sennin uses a microband that Bulma gave him in exchange for a sub in his perverted plan to see Bulma use the bathroom and Lunch take a shower. Goku and Bulma's stop at Kame's house alerts the Red Ribbon Army, who are searching for the Dragon Balls, and General Blue sends out a scout to Kame's house to scout the area. In the end, Goku and Bulma take Krillin with them and are located by the Red Ribbon Army. So why did the ratings jump for this episode? The ratings around this time, up to episode 46, were around a 24 to 26. Then in episode 47, they jumped to a 29.5. And after this episode, they stayed around a 27 to 28 into episode 50. But why would they jump specifically for this episode? One of the reasons is definitely that a lot of Dragon Ball viewers had to have been excited to see their favorite characters come back, like the Muten Roshi and Kuririn, or Krillin and Lunch and the Turtle, Umigame. And after seeing the episode preview for episode 47 in episode 46, they must have been super hyped to see these characters return. The same thing would happen later on with Dragon Ball Kai in episode 46, where episode 47 was teased. You could see Goku transforming into a Super Saiyan against Frieza, and the episode title was right there for you to see. The same thing again happened in Dragon Ball Super, when people were hyped to see the return of future Trunks, as well as what would happen to future Bulma from the preview that we saw in episode 46. And these two episodes of Dragon Ball Kai 47 and of Super 47 as well were also the highest rated episodes of both series respectively as well. So 47 may just be Dragon Ball's lucky number. I mean, you got 4 for the 4 stars and 7 for the Dragon Ball. So it kind of fits, right? In GT, something similar happened where Goku, Trunks, and Pan were in space for the majority of the series up to that point, until episode 25. Well, more people did start watching around episode 26, which was just an episode after they returned to Earth. So much like with Dragon Ball here, people wanted to see their favorite characters return to the story in GT as well. And obviously through word of mouth and TV commercials promoting the next episode, people would have been keyed in on the fact that their favorite characters were returning to Dragon Ball. It was also around the end of the Red Ribbon Army arc in the manga with Goku fighting against Gohan, so people would have just really been excited for Dragon Ball overall. Plus, it's the winter, it's January in 1987. Not many people are going outside like that, you know? And that was the highest rated episode of Dragon Ball. Throughout its run, Dragon Ball Z averaged a 20.5% rating share. Also, the highest, lowest, and average rating for Dragon Ball Z is lower when compared to Dragon Ball, and the same would apply to Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Kai, and subsequently Dragon Ball Super. But this was thanks to the increase in TVs in Japanese homes and increase in channels on TV, dropping the average. I'll go more in depth on why this is the case in a later video, but for now, let's talk about Dragon Ball Z's highest and lowest rating shares. The episode with the highest rating share in Dragon Ball Z is episode 218, titled Exposed. The Saiyaman is Son Gohan, earning a 27.5 rating share. This episode aired February 23rd of 1994. Episode 218 adapted chapter 443 of the manga, which released October 19th of 1993. The script was written by Takao Koyama, the animation supervised by Masayuki Uchiyama, and the episode was directed by Yoshihiro Ueda. After Spopovich almost killed Videl in their match, Goku went to get her a Senzu, Mr. Satan worries about Videl in the infirmary and is confused over Spopovich's monumental improvement. Arisa and Sharpner, on the other hand, obsess over the Great Saiyaman and Videl. Gohan makes everyone wait so that he can get Videl the Senzu, then have his match. After healing Videl, Gohan rushes to his fight with Kibito, and his classmates find out he's the Great Saiyaman. Tension and suspense rise as Kibito asks Gohan to become a Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan. The episode ends as the crowd gets pissed at the lack of action, and Gohan finally begins his transformation. So this brings me to my question. What made so many people watch episode 218? The ratings did begin to trend upward starting with episode 213 when the junior tournament ends and the grown-ups begin their prelims. Even more so, episode 218 is the episode that really kickstarts the events that led to Majin Buu. The episodes after didn't dip that much either, but there could be a reason for this. Spring break was coming up. Speaking of which, the promotions for Movie 10, which aired during spring break, could have also sparked interest for the viewers, as half of the next episode preview was devoted to promoting that movie in the original Japanese broadcast. You could say it's because viewers wanted to see Gohan in action due to his growing popularity. This episode of the Dragon Ball Ratings video series now focuses on Dragon Ball GT, the final Dragon Ball series of its original run throughout the 80s and 90s. Dragon Ball GT from 1996 to 1997 averaged a 14.6% rating share throughout its run. The highest rated episode is episode 2, with the rating share of 19.7. This episode aired February 14, 1996, titled I'm the Star, Pan Takes Off into Space. Episode 2 was written by Aya Matsui. The animation was supervised by Masayuki Uchiyama, who also supervised the highest and lowest rated episodes of Dragon Ball Z. Check that video out. And the episode was directed by Mitsuo Hashimoto. In episode 2, Trunks, now Capsule Corp president, returns to work and is loved by everyone around him, even the guy he was set to face in the last tournament. When he's informed of his upcoming busy schedule, he escapes work, and we cut to Goku's house. And Goku and his family discuss the space trip that's about to take place, and Pan desperately wants to be involved. Then the two dudes from Home Alone begin plotting against Bulma in a literal side plot. Bulma, Gohan, and Videl work on the spaceship and keep Pan or Pan from being a nuisance throughout. Pan damages the ship and then runs away to go let her anger out on other people. The Home Aloners try to antagonize Bulma, believing Goku is their hostage, but Goku's just having fun with them. Pan hangs out with Mr. Satan, Goku unintentionally scares away the Home Alone guys, Vegeta recruits Trunks and Goten to go to space with Goku, but at the end of the episode, Goten misses out because Pan blasts off with Goku and Trunks, leaving him on Earth as they travel the universe. So, with that episode recapped, I got one question. Why did so many people watch episode 2 of Dragon Ball GT? Much like the initial ratings bump that Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Kai got, the viewers were really excited to see the rebranding of Dragon Ball once again. The first episode set the tone right out the bat, with the storyline and brand new Dragon Balls and Goku becoming a kid again. Must have had so many people wondering what would happen next. Also, Goku was a kid again. The 10th anniversary movie was right around the corner, so the nostalgia was really hitting hard, you know what I'm saying? Episode 2 showed off much more of the cast as well than episode 1 did, and much like episode 47 of Dragon Ball, it proved that the return of beloved characters draws in viewers, especially considering there was a time gap from Z to GT. This would easily make people more excited to see the changes that happened to the characters over the course of those years. The guys from Home Alone definitely drew eyes as well, as Home Alone is really successful and a really popular movie all throughout the world. And also, it is winter, so there's a greater chance that people are inside the house. It is February after all. Aside from that, this was a really great episode, especially in terms of direction with how many characters needed to be kept track of. It was quite a lot, and they did a masterful job of that. From 2009 to 2011, Dragon Ball Kai averaged a 9.4% rating share. Unlike Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Kai aired during the Dream 9 block, which is 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Episode 47 is the highest rated episode of Dragon Ball Kai with a 12.3% rating share. Airing March 7, 2010, adapting part of 316 and adapting 317 of the manga. And because this is Dragon Ball Z re-edited, episode 47 adapted episode 94 and 95 of Dragon Ball Z. The script was written by Hiroshi Toda. The directors were Yoshihiro Ueda and Shigeyasu Yamaguchi, who directed the Z episodes that were converted into this one. But Yasuhiro Noatari is credited for the specific episode direction for episode 47 of Kai. Episode 47, Awaken Legendary Warrior, the Super Saiyan Son Goku. Episode 47 starts with Gohan, Kuririn, or Krillin, and Piccolo doing their best to hold off Frieza while Goku readies the Genki Dama, otherwise known as the Spirit Bomb. Once ready, Goku smashes Frieza with the Genki Dama, and it takes everyone out. And Frieza's believed to be defeated, until...
It's Frieza!
Frieza's alive, and he knocks off Piccolo and bombs Krillin, and threatens to kill Gohan, until... Goku transforms, giving the episode its namesake. So why was episode 47 the most viewed episode of Dragon Ball Kai? The episode is titled Awaken Legendary Warrior, the Super Saiyan Son Goku. Enough said. People knew Goku was going to transform in this episode, thanks to Dragon Ball Z existing and the episode 46 preview. And surely the adults who are nostalgic for Dragon Ball Z definitely changed the channel to check out this episode one more time. There's a clear jump in ratings from 46 to 47, which persist for a few episodes after. And the same is true for Dragon Ball Z episode 95 when Goku finally transformed there. One other thing is that this episode took place either during or around spring break, so, you got that as well. If you look at Dragon Ball Kai, the final chapters, as another entity, this is the first Dragon Ball series where the highest rated episode came after its lowest rated episode. So after returning from cancellation, the second phase of Dragon Ball Kai would replace Toriko, airing the Majin Buu story arc from 2014 to 2015. Dragon Ball Kai's second run averaged a 5.8% rating share, down from the 9.4. Episode 106 is the highest rated episode of Dragon Ball Kai, the final chapters, garnering a 7.6% rating share. Episode 106 aired May 25th of 2014. And what's funny about this episode is that it coincides with the highest rated episode of Dragon Ball Z as well, episode 218. Check that video out. Both episode 106 of Kai and 218 of Z are the highest rated episodes of their respective series if you bar phase 1 of Dragon Ball Kai. Episode 106 also adapted episodes 217 and 219 of Z. On the manga side, episode 106 adapted chapters 441 to 445 of the manga. The script for 106 was written by Katsuyuki Sumisawa and Takao Koyama. Direction carried out by Terazaki Naohiro, and editing done by Kenta Katase. Episode 106, Videl battered. Gohan's fury is at its limits. Spopovich is relentlessly battering the bejesus out of Videl and is getting Gohan more and more pissed off. Her dad's none the wiser meanwhile. Yamu gets Spopovich to win the match before Gohan could kill him. Goku goes to get Videl a Senzu, and Videl, while in the infirmary, wants Gohan to beat Spopovich. Mr. Satan shows up to the infirmary to check on his daughter and is perplexed with Spopovich's transformation. Once Gohan has successfully healed Videl, he begins his match with Kibito and transforms for him. And then he is stabbed by Spopovich and Yamu, and they take off. And then Goku and the others take off along with them. So I got one question for you. Why was episode 106 the most viewed episode of Dragon Ball Kai as far as the second phase of the series goes? At this point, the second run of Dragon Ball Kai was still brand new and likely still experiencing the initial ratings boosts that each new series tend to have. It was being highlighted in Saikyo Jump, and Toriyama had a recent interview with Naho Oishi. It could be that the audience knew the Majin Buu story arc would finally kick into motion from this episode on. Maybe unfamiliar viewers were curious to see if Spopovich would kill Videl before Gohan could stop him. This is also the first episode that Gohan goes SS2 for the first time since his fight versus Cell. Dragon Ball Super began airing July 5th of 2015, and of the 131 episodes of the series, episode 47 received the highest rating share at an 8.4%, the first and only time Dragon Ball Super hit an 8 or higher in the ratings. For comparison, Dragon Ball Super averaged a 5.6% rating share throughout its entirety of its run. Episode 47, titled SOS from the Future, A Black New Enemy Appears, aired June 12th of 2016, a very important date for me personally. Episode 47 script was penned by Atsuhiro Tomioka. The animation supervisors were Naoki Tate and Osamu Ishikawa. Chief animation supervisor for this episode was Takeo Ide. Hiroyuki Kakura and Kohei Hatano are credited for the storyboard and direction respectfully. So here's the recap. Trunks stops by Bulma, who just finished collecting enough fuel for a one-way trip, but Black attacks and kills Bulma before they could even leave. Meanwhile, in the present, Goku suckers Piccolo into competing against him in a crop harvesting race before interrupting Vegeta's training on Beerus's planet, and they eat noodles together while discussing the Omni King's devastating power. And back to the future. Trunks reunites with Mai, and they eat food Mai scavenged. Then they head to Capsule Corp, but Black attacks one more time, seemingly killing Mai, and the episode closes out revealing Black has Goku's face. So, why did so many people watch episode 47? It's almost not even worth explaining. Future Trunks made his return. One of the most beloved characters in the whole franchise came back with bad news. Again. But also, do y'all remember the build up to this episode with the leaks and spoilers coming out? The promotional poster that everyone tried to decode until the episode came out? Even into the arc with the earrings. It's tough to say, but this episode was probably more hyped than the announcement that Dragon Ball Super would be the first Dragon Ball series in almost 20 years. And by new Dragon Ball series, I mean brand new, because Kai was, a recut. But it's almost, in a way, more hyped up than Dragon Ball Super's announcement. That's just how high the anticipation was for this episode. And this was during the social media age, so everyone was being bombarded with constant news, excitement, and confusion with Trunks' hair color for weeks before the episode even aired. And there's more proof on the screen. I'll bet anything that the biggest reason people tuned in to watch episode 46 was to see the next episode preview for 47. On top of that, there was changes to the opening animation, including Trunks and Mai, and even Black. On top of that, Dragon Ball Super jumped from 6th to 3rd place in the ratings among its contemporaries. This is huge because Dragon Ball Super was always in the top 10, but only ever cracked the top 3 spot once, and that was for the all-out fight between Goku and Golden Frieza from episode 25.